Hi, I'm Janet G and I'm here with the second part of the video that was uploaded last week. And I'm just going to tell you a little story behind that before we begin. This video is now in 4 parts because the powers that be are in the ether. It feels like didn't want to get some of this information out. So we filmed the video last week and I actually only got through 5 slides because the sound didn't work after, and we had already filmed a video twice because there was something wrong with the first one. So it's allowed me then to expand more on the information that I'm going to be sharing today and throughout these videos. A lot of this information is very dark. It's not what you want to be looking at. However, without looking at it, you will never understand or know what you are up against in this battle, in this game of frequencies. Battle for humanity. So we're going to go into now where it starts, and again it's vibration and it attacks in the womb. And it starts with ultrasound scans. So no woman that I know would not ever want to have a scan when she's pregnant. It's, you know, the norm. But when we look into how damaging it might be to your growing baby, it puts you in a little bit of a different position. And I'd like to think now that if I could live my time again, I definitely wouldn't do this and I would go completely natural. I didn't know there was an alternative at the time because of the programming within the matrix. So it all starts in the womb. According to the Journal of Ultrasound Medicine, ultrasound is a form of energy which affects the tissue it traverses. Essentially, this energy, sound waves, can deform cells and of most concern, the cells associated with the formation of the cortex in the brain. Early studies show cases for concern and demonstrate the subtle neurological damage linked to ultrasounds. In ultrasound, the following events happen. The ultrasound machine transmits high frequency 1 to 5 megahertz sound pulses into your body using a probe. The sound waves travel into your body and hit a boundary between fluid and soft tissue and bone. And if you think about sound being really powerful, you know, and some voices can break glass, that's how powerful sound can be. What could it be doing to a growing embryo or fetus? When you place an egg in water and expose the water to ultrasound, the energy of the ultrasonic frequencies violently shake and break down the contents of the egg and cook them without breaking the shell. Wow. So what do you suppose might be happening to the internal organs and systems of the developing babies when they are exposed to this technology? Is it possible that children will be born with what appears to be an intact shell or body while their insides have been cooked, scrambled and irrevocably altered as a result of being exposed to this technology? And you'll never know for certain. And from the research I've done, it's probably going to affect fertility, which has already been affected in a lot of males. And also I do feel that this can somehow take your potential away by damaging parts of the brain. This is a way to pave the way for the brain to receive and readily more accept vaccinations that we don't need either. And for the growing baby inside this, what does it feel like? You know, do you actually care? So routine pregnancy scans are an unnecessary invasion of the baby's privacy and a cause of developmental disorders. A miniature hydrophone placed in a woman's uterus recorded the sound of the scan as loud as a subway train coming into the station. Wow, that's really, we all know what that can sound like. But we all want to see a picture of our little baby, don't we? That's more important, not the actual baby. And I'm sorry if this upsets or offends anybody, but you can look at this for yourself and maybe start realising, since these have been around, what other disorders and diseases have become more since, like autism, ADHD, infertility, lots of disorders that we might not recognise as coming from ultrasound scans because the conditions might not develop till later, like even in adulthood. Some of these conditions that are going to be born of this will not be shown, and the link will never be made to ultrasound scans. So that's, in my opinion anyway. Everything in this world is unnatural. It seems to be going against the grain of nature. And everything natural, organic, God created. So giving birth in hospitals and all the protocol that goes with that, if you don't know any other way and you're programmed into the matrix, a bit like what we spoke about in the first video, then you won't have a clue that there's an alternative that you can do instead. And it's a much more natural, more beautiful way, because giving birth is, in a woman's life, is probably the most amazing thing she'll ever do, to bring a life into the world. So we've all heard and had horrific horror stories of births within hospitals. And hospitals and birth don't actually go. I don't think, you're not ill, you're delivering. It's a beautiful time. It's attached to a hospital. It's very strange. There's a lot of inductions going on now. If you go over 2 weeks over your due date, they want to be prodding and poking. They want to make the baby come out when they want. Oh, it's dangerous or whatever. Using forceps and all these other things to get the baby out, as well as caesarean sections, which are on the rise because people can book in. It's all in order, very left-brained. Which is against nature, in my opinion. So the baby lets the mother's body know when it's ready to be born into the world. The baby knows when it's ready to come. And why wouldn't it? It's been God created. The brain then produces oxytocin, the hormone that will start labour for the delivery of the baby. And it's a very natural process. Once the baby is triggered that it wants to come out, the body will kick in with whatever it's got to do. No artificial stimulus needed, because they actually give pig oxytocin to ladies to induce them. And the labour is horrific. Some of the pains you're having for no reason because the labour hasn't started naturally. It does eventually kick in, so sometimes you can be labouring for a lot longer when you're induced. Many totally amazing, magical, natural processes can occur. However, because of the programme of pregnancy and birth, which relies on this system, the matrix, which offers a very unnatural care of labour and delivery of birth. We are prodded and poked, have ultrasound heart monitors, drugs, breaking of the waters, induction, forceps and cutting of the umbilical cord immediately after birth, plus a multitude of other interventions. Because many natural chemicals and hormonal processes take place in the body during pregnancy and birth, it may be unclear how extremely important it is to leave the umbilical cord intact for as long as possible. All the natural nutrients, God's antibiotics, everything that baby needs from where it has been growing to be pumped into the baby for health, vitality and love. Being born will change the process to the next phase, and the placenta will do its last job outside of the body, because a different chemical reaction will take place, because that's nature. We might not know about this, or they might know about this, who knows. But I feel that leaving the umbilical cord intact, and you can see it pulsating, pumping all the nutrients to give that baby the best start in life. And what do? They cut it immediately. Cut off its natural supply of goodness from its mother. Crazily, we then stick needles into our beautiful babies full of poison, instead of allowing the natural processes to take place. This happens because we are programmed and hypnotised into the matrix system, which has to be as unnatural as possible, for here is a battle against nature to interfere with the full potential possible in all things natural, God's way. It's an attack on the Creator. All of it. Everything that's going on in this insane, inverted, upside-down world is all an attack on the Creator. And if you open your eyes, you will actually see it. Time to wake up and save what is left of natural, God-given gifts in the amazing process of birth. And there are alternatives for anybody who's having babies out there, or if you're thinking of having a baby. I would recommend you visit birthofrenewearth.com, where Giannis Barcelo goes into all of this and the satanic nature of hospitals and what they're doing to bring our little babies into the world. All unnatural. And when you see the ecstasy of women who give birth naturally, along with Giannis Barcelo's ways, it's absolutely a joy to behold, and so it should be. Babies shouldn't be born in hospitals, they should be born at home, or at least in a maternity home or somewhere natural. You don't need the drugs if the atmosphere and the circumstances are set up right. You don't need any of what they say that you need, you really don't. So, now I did say that this video is going to be, you know, it's got some dark stuff. We need to take a look at what's actually going on. We can't keep looking over there and pretending it's not happening, because it is happening. And for all the beauty in the world, this sinister, iconic, demonic ways that are being forced upon us, and we give consent to it, we're just accepting it, or turning a blind eye to it even. You don't want to know. I don't want to know either, it's sick. But I'm going to share it with you, just so you can wake up, know your enemy is, and then decide which side you're on. Are you on the natural side or the unnatural side, the organic or the inorganic? It's not all love, light and namaste. Maybe that's where we're heading. Of course, we all dream about that kind of utopia, and why not? That's why we're here. But we're allowing this system to affect our very makeup, our nature, our God-created lives, our bodies, our well-being, our health. Everything is being affected with this system. And George Orwell definitely got it right. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Now, there's some quite disturbing images on there, I think. This image of aborted fetuses, which I found out a bit of this last year, and it's really disturbing. So now abortion is business. Blood spilling is, you know, Satan's glory. He's rubbing his hands together. Kill those babies, get them out, spill the blood, use the stem cells, make some beauty cream, put it in here, put it in there. It's all absolutely disgusting. So the baby's body parts, and there was a video that I saw that was very disturbing, where someone who worked in one of these clinics who was told that she needed to try and get it intact, because it's worth more money when its brain's intact and things are intact.
What we've been quoting is $50 per specimen. I think some people are doing more, some slightly less.
50 was like 12 years ago. What would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of...
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you're used to paying? Well, you know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So, I want a Lamborghini. I said I want a Lamborghini.
Okay, we kind of launched it because we were talking to Eleanor, but then
Okay, I wanted you to meet
Robert Stark is with Biomex. Very nice to meet you.
Pasadena.
Pasadena.
And when we were in LA, we had a deal with
Novogenics.
Yeah. Novogenics.
Yeah. The problem we're having is that in the California affiliates are all already partnered up with somebody.
Well, Pasadena is not actually.
Oh, Pasadena is not.
Do you have the volume? I don't.
What kind of volume do you need?
How far in gestation do you go?
16 weeks.
To 16.
We only do 20 cases a week, so it's not a big deal.
Don't waste your
So that's the. I mean,
Hey, no, I
we-
Do not waste your
do you have a card on you? Because okay, let me give you one of mine. Because I did it.
No.
Oh, well, I would like your card as well.
What kind of volume do you need and what gestation age is? What kind of volume do you need and what gestation age is?
Well, really, it's
24 weeks.
it's up to, most of the requests are actually like 16 weeks and above. So you're kind of like right on the edge there. But I think it would be worth it to make the connection, and this way, we can start the conversation, and if we can have like a one-off that we do some of the things.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that your staff who are on site
Right.
whatever background check,
Right.
you have to pay a little money to use the
Right.
space. It's not law. We're not doing
Right. Yeah. What do you have any idea ballpark what we'd be talking about in terms of compensation? Yeah, because most people now seem to be doing per specimen, and so what we sorry, what?
$75 a specimen or $50.
What we've been quoting is $50 per specimen. I think some people are doing more, some slightly less.
50 was like 12 years ago.
Slightly less.
50 was like 12 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, so what we like about per specimen is that way we're not paying for material that we can't use. So if we can get a liver, a lung, and
You would
brain.
show up to do this.
Exactly. We would send a tech. We can get a liver, a lung, and
You would
brain.
show up to do this.
Exactly. We would send a tech. Yeah, we would send a tech in to do that. Yeah. Novogenics, I guess. Yeah.
Heather
Okay.
came and she was great. But we had at PDLA was 24 weeks, and we had Heather coming to 2 of our sites that went a little further along, and they found a lot of issues with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing that.
Yeah.
Stuff, but I bet they do. Give me a call.
Definitely. Yeah. I got your email and phone number on there. Okay. So we'll exchange all the further information. Definitely. Thank you. Good to meet you.
So it was logistically very easy for us. We didn't do anything. So it was compensation for this.
We last
50 was like 12 years ago.
we can get a liver, a lung, and
You would
brain.
show up to do this. What kind of volume do you need and what gestation age is?
It's a big business, and if you look at on this slide of how much each body part's worth, then you'll see why. And now they're allowing terminations up to birth. In America, it's murder. Now, these people signing these bills with evil looks on their faces, programmed puppets being programmed, empty shells, not even soulless bottles, I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not human, because no living soul human would allow this to happen. Not in this day and age, because you can find out the information for yourself and see. It's all engineered. Whether you like it or not, looking at what actually goes on in the world to see where God is not is imperative when seeking the truth. You have to look the enemy in the eye. Only then can you begin to see what you're up against and stand up to it. By allowing people to know what's going on even if they don't like it. Just because they don't like it doesn't mean it's not happening. And just because it sounds so untrue doesn't mean it's not true. Because it is true, because we know it's true, because we can see it. We can just Google these things and find out for ourselves. But if you're too busy looking the other way and you don't want to know, then, that's up to you. But the world that you're creating for your own children is diabolical. That's what it's going to be. There's not much time left. There's a big shift coming. So you better get ready. It's a white knuckle ride. Looking the other way will not save the world, and it's not going to happen just by spreading love, light and namaste. Yeah, that's where we're heading. But if you've not looked at this right in the eye and purged, this is a purging ground. We've come here to purge what this is definitely not where we have come from. If you're a living soul, you've not come to experience this. but it's a purge so that you know what you don't want in your eternal life. We don't want any of this. It's inverted, upside down and inside out. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. And you're good men, aren't you? Yeah. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you tell people about these things? Do you know about these things? Or do you just turn a blind eye and just carry on with your work, paying your bills, you know, paying your mortgage, going to the gym, going to the wine bar, whatever it is you do? You can still do all those things, but you can still allow the people that you love and know to know what's going on in this world. And you can see it's in the papers, it's everywhere. Not that we believe the papers, but that's mainstream and some of this stuff's in there. So it is happening. Now this is known as cognitive dissonance, where if you are challenged by an idea that goes against what you believe and it causes confusion, you're just, you know, a bit like when the flat earth came out, another massive lie. Yeah, the earth's a still fixed plane. It's well worth going looking at that because it hides so many other lies within it. And the amount of arguments and things that I've seen people change right in front of my eyes when you bring this subject up, it's quite amazing. Refusing to look at critical information just because it makes you feel uncomfortable or scared is willfully choosing to remain in a state of ignorance, and that means you're asleep. You might as well be a zombie. You might as well be like the soulless portals because you're asleep and you can't be bothered. You want to look at this, but something stirs inside. You're going to take the red pill or the blue pill. That's where we're at. And therefore, to remain unconscious. Yeah, everything's love and light, isn't it? Unconscious. If everything's love and light in your life, you're unconscious. And you need to wake up. We are going to be going into a few more things like this later to do with animals as well, so be ready. New Age deception. Many New Age deceivers want to convince you that giving power to something that is harmful simply by putting your attention upon it and becoming aware of its existence. Therefore, you should never pay attention to or talk about anything that is negative. Oh God, that is just brilliant, isn't it? For those iconic people running the world, that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we don't want to see all the bad things they're doing. And that's why we're putting up and shutting up with so many things that are going on in this world right now. If you're a natural human being and you have a soul, you better wake up, rise to your position, because you're not here to just be indoctrinated into a system. You've got God creative power inside you, gifts, and you're missing out for yourself. You really are missing out. Going back to a little bit what we spoke about in the first video about the Matrix and how it works, how it's designed, how it unfolds into your life. We are in a world of illusion, of density, a world of limitation in the three-dimensional five-sense realm. Though we are boundless, seems like hocus pocus that, or so far-fetched in some cases to hear that, because we are in our body in this three-dimensional world. But when you understand the electromagnetic spectrum and the spectrum of light and how holograms work, maybe it's possible. Well, it is. It is. So, the electromagnetic spectrum, there is no time, it's so huge, and because we only see with a tiny percentage of visible light with our eyes, 0.05%, then we've gone into a really tight place, and because of this the illusion can be created, and it makes it dense because the narrow band of frequency is going to slow everything down and make it appear like there's time, or time can be a construct that can be put in place in this density where people can be controlled and manipulated. Out of the spectrum there is no time, there just is. But here we have the illusion of time, and only here do we have decay and death. Outside of this frequency band there is no death, there is no time. So to arrive at a level of awareness, the human mind relies on a range of senses that effectively download the environment of what is experienced. If what is experienced is only measured by what the body can sense, and the feedback is limited, what the body can process. So we can only sense with our 5 senses in this density, but there is more beyond the 5 senses. This is important to understand. The human eye is only able to see about 0.05% of the electromagnetic spectrum that exists on the spectrum. It is a fraction of what it is, a shadow world, an inverted upside down reality. You are a fractionalized projection of your full light body projected into the dense reality. And as you can see on that image, there it is. And it's possible. The full light body's there projecting down in the density, having an experience consciously, but it's fractionalized. That's why we have shadows in this world. That's what it means. This and grasping this kind of information can alter your perception, change your life. It's life-changing, because you can really grab the reins of your life and start steering and navigating your life the way that you want it to go. And you're not on autopilot, you're not unconscious, you're not listening to the invisible mirrors and everything that's shoved in your face all over the place to remind you how you should be, a bit like on the film, They Live. We're here for so much more. And the limiting world wants us to keep us in this density, because it's quite clever when they realise that they can make us into slaves to keep the world going. And as I explained in the first video, we power up the reality, our infinite soul energy, so they need us, else it doesn't exist, it ceases to exist. And we'll go into that a little bit later as well, how that's possible with the heart centre. Another thing that ties in with this is the Mandela effect. Now this is happening, and a lot of people watching this video will know about the Mandela effect, and if you've never heard of it, you want to go and have a look at it and see what you remember. Has your memory been wiped or changed? How is that possible? And it's, in my opinion now, it's almost like there's 2 worlds in one. And there's the organic world, the beautiful created world, the God-created, divine, natural, beautiful world, and then there's this other world that is that as well. However, it's got these demonic, archonic frequencies. That's what it's using, and it's like an overlay being put over everything natural. And it's not there yet, but I don't think it's going to take much longer, because the people are looking down more. We are more unconscious. So if you're more unconscious and you're hypnotised and you don't even know, it's so easy for all this to be going on and you won't even have a clue. And these are the clues that this is possible. 2 worlds, reality in one. It sounds like sci-fi, but the Mandela effect is happening. And some people remember the old ways and the old things that have been, and some people don't. It's really, really peculiar. So there's a battle, in my opinion, again, going on for this world, just like it states in the Bible. Satan said he would have the souls of men, and he's doing it through mind control, hypnosis, and frequencies. Because you don't know that you're an energetic being to the level that you are, and you just accept that you're a meat suit, plodding along in 3-dimensional 5-sense realm, and everything's love and light, and you've no clue what you're actually really made of. They know what you're really made of. Living souls are made up of everything that's dynamic and amazing, and have power within their heart centres to change themselves and change the world around them, and not come back here. They've got that power, but the powers that be know that we have that power, so they've got to do their very best to keep us lower region, carnal natured, lower level, chakra, that's just a word, it's dense in the physical. The more physical that we believe and accept that we are, the easier it is for them to control us. we come up to the spirit, the battle is in the spirit. That's where it's at. And you don't even know that. You don't even know there's a battle taking place, because when the war or the attack is on the minds of men, and they don't even know that, because everything looks like you're free, even though we know we're not free now, because lots of oppressive rules and regulations are being forced on us now. Freedom of speech is being taken now. You can't say this, you can't do that. Why? I'm an expression of consciousness, and I can express myself how I see fit. But again, a lot of the world is full of soulless portals again now, who are going to lead like the lambs to the slaughter, lead you away. Oh, leave them be, let them do what they like, they're not harming anybody, are they? No, they're not harming anybody. But the agenda is bigger than that. They're taking over the freaking world, and you're just watching it happen. We're programmed into this holographic electromagnetic reality as we have a brain, a supercomputer of mind-blowing capacity and magnitude, and we settle for the programming of the matrix. What, are you mad? Very limiting, and fear-based. This programming starts from birth, leading us to fall into the trap of the illusion. Limitation, sinful, physical and three-dimensional nature, which spreads across a whole multitude of desires, keeping us carnal, physical, lowering our experience. It's so real, we forget about our spirit. Well, now and then you might think about it. You're able to live in your spirit every single day. And those entities, when you live in your spirit every single day in your heart, cannot touch you. It's like two magnets repelling, cannot enter that frequency, and that is why they want you to keep you down, frightened, low, powerless, hopeless. They want to keep you down there. Even by displaying all these acts of debauchery and blood spilling and war and what have you, keeps you in that nature, keeps your mind occupied in fear, in, you know. But there is a way out. And one of the things I definitely suggest is start going looking at these things for yourself instead of turning the other way. We're born into the world, and when the newborn baby, they take the baby's blood from his heel. It's like, why? What is that about? They need to know what blood type it is. Why? Why do they? It's a brand new baby, doesn't it? They don't. So again, programming teaches us that we must trust these people in white coats and the, doctors and nurses. And I'm not attacking doctors and nurses by any means, because they do really want to care for people, a lot of them. But these processes are unnatural and not called for. So again, looking at a more satanic, I don't know how else the word to use, or sinister way of owning you. The parents who are programmed don't know any better. And again, if I'd have known this, I'm sure I wouldn't have allowed this to happen. So by taking the baby's blood, then they own that baby, because blood is currency. Blood is your life force. Without it, you don't live. There's lots of blood spilling in the Bible. It represents something really, really deep in a spiritual nature. So they take your blood, and because they can't copy your blood, they can't own you, they can't copy it. If they could, they would, and then they'd own you. They give you a piece of paper back called a birth certificate, and you accept that, and the parents, willfully hand your name over to the state, to the system. They've got your blood, and in return they give you paper so that you can operate and function in their world of paper. When you're flesh and blood, human being, child of God, and they own you. All these sayings now, I'm lost at sea, and you are lost at sea. If the blood goes to the Vatican, why? What's that all about? Satan owns your blood. That's it. The system has got you until you claim it back. But you don't even know that this is happening. Nobody really goes this deep into things. So your blood is currency, and they can't copy that. And there's something else I may go into later that can help you to claim your blood back. And you've got sovereignty over yourself once more, and God the Creator will see you. Because why Satan's got your blood, God can't see you. So your brain can process information so fast. In the moment it's happening, like right now. My brain is, decoding everything that's going on in my surroundings right now. It's regarding the outside world, and it changes the information from wave, vibration and frequency format to electrical. This is how our 5 senses can operate in this world, so it is highly possible to interfere with that using wave vibrations from a multitude of sources, including radio, Wi-Fi, microwave, etc. So again, the powers that be know that we are energetic beings and know how to control and manipulate and oppress using waves that they know. So for example, 432 Hertz is an amazing frequency, and it affects your heart centre, and they altered the radio frequencies to 440 Hertz, which isn't unnatural. So the vibrations that you're hearing are not helping you as a human, as a being. And we don't know this. You've got to start looking into it. Why aren't things left natural? What? It's clear. It's just an attack. So, in the 5 sense realm, I use my eyes as an example. You take in the information, my eyes are taking in the information, my brain's decoding it to electronic information, which sends an image to the back of my brain called the visual cortex. It also sends an image to the heart centre, not like what you can see, but the information will be going there as well. And what you're taking in, you then project back out. So your heart centre is a magnet as well as electrical, and it's 500 times stronger than the brain and 100 times electronically stronger than the brain. So what you feel about something, you can bring back. Now, if you're conscious and you have focused, directed attention and energy, you can really make your reality, your dream, show up in your life. However, if you're unconscious, then you'll be on autopilot, and you'll just be in a habit and a pattern going round and round. You might have an anger habit or whatever it might be. Emotional habits can occur as well, because our brain, our subconscious, will produce these emotional habits, thinking it's what we want if we keep thinking about things that way for long enough. So it's so amazing. The eyes are taking in, and your brain takes a snapshot every second, and each snapshot contains 127 billion bits per second. So your life is being weaved in front of you every second, because your brain's a computer decoding the reality that feels so real, doesn't it? It feels so real. And it is, because you're here for an experience, and the experience is now in the moment, every moment. So because of the nature of the way, the way the reality is made, and knowing that our brains are like computers, then what do we do with computers? We program them. So we can be programmed, and there are programs all over the place for a multitude of different things. Just pick something and it's programming in TV, media, sport, religion. And once the idea is out there of the programming, then it runs itself, because we all then have picked up the programming and remind each other of what it should be, isn't, could be, whatever. But it's all still in the confines of the matrix. It is not out of the box. It's still boxed in. And so first the programming, then hypnosis. As long as you're hypnotised and you experience sleep, you will not see the wood for the trees. So reflecting back at you is the reality being created on autopilot or unconscious. There is little or no conscious thought, so life is happening to you as opposed to you happening to life. Grabbing the reins and navigating your own way. You will not know, and you will just accept things on a mass hypnosis of the world, living subconsciously or unconsciously. So if you know how to manipulate energy and frequencies, it will be very possible to interfere with our divine makeup, allowing us to forget who we really are, which is the idea. Because if we forget who we really are, we'll be in eternal hell, won't we, forever? Because this is like hell. Well, the way it's going, it's going to be set in like that. And it's what Jesus talked about. Other hypnotic patterns and habits include TV, radio, media, sports, concerts, cognitive dissonance, invisible mirrors. All these keep us hypnotised so the matrix can still extract energy while we give our consent to it, for our consent to it to happen. We actually willingly buy in. And because of time, or the illusion of time, and we're all stuck on a clock and got to be here, got to be there, got to get up, got to do this, got to do that, we never have any time left to even look at these things or even take a look at ourselves and what is going on or what could be possible. So I think it's really important. I'm speaking to all of you living souls out there. It's time to rise. It's time to wake up, all the living souls together. God's calling. God is calling you to wake up. Take a look at this. This is not where you're from. This is not your world. Okay. 4 building blocks of consciousness. There are 4 basic brainwave frequencies, and each correlates with a specific state of consciousness. Like sound frequencies, brainwaves are measured in hertz or cycles per second. In general, the slower the frequency of your brainwaves, the more relaxed you feel. That's why meditation, neurofeedback, hypnosis and guided imagery all have been shown to help people control their brainwaves more efficiently for better health, higher performance and a more positive experience of life. So this is really valuable. If you can learn to slow your brain down and even shut it up sometimes, you're going to be more present, and you'll definitely hear God speaking back to you. However, a lot of people just generally live their lives with stuff being, said, chitter, all the time. And it's meaningless, a lot of it. They'll have a lot of thoughts, and then they start thinking about these thoughts, and they're driving to work, and they've no clue that this is going on. They're not conscious. This is what unconscious means. So to take part in a meditation, or even listening to the silence, that is one of the quickest, most easy ways that I use to go into that no mind. And take a deep breath. And just listen to the silence. And that's all you need to do. If you've got a busy mind or something chaotic's going on in your life and you're sick of thinking about this or that, just go in another room, have a bath or something, lie down and just listen to the silence, and you'll start to feel so much better. Listen to the silence, close your eyes, and then it will take you into the silence. And it's ever so peaceful. And once that's done, whatever problem you think you might have had, you won't have after that. You'll get clarity on how to deal with it. So, alpha waves, 1 to 13 hertz. Alpha is the brainwave associated with relaxed, daydreaming states of mind. It is a state of relaxed, detached awareness. Many people are in alpha while watching TV. This is the state of hypnosis as well, and so many people say, oh, I can't be hypnotised. Really? Do you watch TV? Do you look at screens? There it is. Of course you can. It's easy to hypnotise people. So easy. Hypnosis isn't what people think it is. So alpha is often called a hypnagogic state because you may experience spontaneous mental imagery. So it's what the TV is in the state of alpha. That's why when it only takes about 30 seconds for you to stare at TV, even if it's absolute drivel that's on there, which most of it is on the TV, the normal TV anyway, and you'll be sucked in and you'll be just watching and your brain is going in. Alpha is actually a really good way to do revision or study. It goes in a lot better when you're in that state. So the TV is putting garbage into your mind. You know, maybe you want to think about, you know, food for thought. That's not the right kind of food to be putting into your brain. Definitely not. So that's the end of part 2. I hope it stirred you inside, because that's the idea. Be disturbed, stirred inside. Wake up. Come on. Living souls, we need you. Thank you.